Hi, guys, and welcome to another interview with EC Norway. Today I'm joined by Gustaph, who will represent Belgium in this year's Eurovision Song Contest with his song Because of You. It's so nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good as well.
Nice.
Some of our viewers might not know you that well yet. So, who is Gustaph?
Well, I am a 42-year-old performer, singer, songwriter from Belgium. I've been in the business for quite some time. Uh, I write my own music. I make my own music, and I've been working as a backing vocalist, vocal coach, artist, songwriter in Belgium for a long time. And I've also been, maybe some viewers might know that I've been part of Hercules and Love Affair, a queer collective,
Hmm.
for about 6-7 years, from 2012 till 2018. So that might be a
Cool.
little inkling of knowledge, but that's kind
Yeah,
of the big picture is that.
cool. And you've been a backing vocalist for other Eurovision entries, right?
Yes, I have. I was 2018, I was part of delegation for Senec, and
Hmm.
2021, I was part of delegation for Hooverphonic. And for Hooverphonic, I was a backing vocalist and also the vocal coach for Gekke, the lead singer.
Oh, cool. How was the experience in 2021 given all the corona, uh, yeah,
Yeah, that was a
restrictions?
bit of a that was a bit of a challenge because I think we had to get tested almost every day, and you had to
Yeah.
really get tested before you could enter the arena. So it was always a bit of stress, and they had this bless all the hard work they put into this event, the people from the Netherlands, but they had a sort of a system that unfortunately didn't always work. So you
Hmm.
had to do another test and then wait for a longer time, but it just made me more stressed. Like, oh my god, what if I have corona? Because like for example, Iceland, if one of
Hmm.
them had corona, the whole delegation had to stay home.
Yeah.
It was a responsibility you really felt all the time. But
Yeah.
it kind of made the whole experience a bit more. We were very close as a delegation because you have to be close because you only have each other,
Yeah.
so you have to make that work.
Yeah.
Yes,
And congratulations on winning Eurosong 2023.
thank
How has
you.
life been since you won?
It's been a whirlwind, but a lovely whirlwind, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes over your life, but I gladly let Eurovision be my dominant perspective right now. It's also a lot of fun. I get to talk to people like you. I get to meet people who have listened to the song, which is it still blows my mind that actually people all over Europe know the song. It's quite beautiful. So I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying it.
Yeah, and Eurovision is quite a big stage, so I bet you're happy to let it take over a large part of your life.
For sure, for sure. Yes, it's very. It's just a great. I've always been a fan of the contest, and it's very nice to do this. And it's really literally me checking off my bucket list. It's something I will never forget the rest of my
Yeah,
life.
I bet. Um, you started doing music in 1999. Um, could you tell us a bit more about your musical roots?
Well, I've been working as a writer and composer since I was, I think, about 13, 14 years old in Belgium. I was always very ambitious as to becoming, an artist myself and releasing my own music. So everything up until I was 18, 19 years old was driven by that ambition.
Mm.
And then when I was 19, I signed my first record deal and released my first music here in Belgium. And it became a hit, and I was like, I won something like best debut, like the Grammys from Belgium, I
Oh,
guess,
cool.
which was lovely. But it also kind of was a great learning curve for me because I always wanted to be an artist and a pop artist. And then once you get to be the pop artist and you see the mechanics of the mechanics of the industry, it changes the way you feel about your music. And I think for me that was a bit of a like a psychological shock because I wasn't prepared for that at all.
Yeah.
So I kind of stepped out of that perspective for a while because I was still only 19 years old at that point in 2000 and 2001. I focused on studying because I was studying a master in music, and
Mm.
it kind of led me to becoming a full all-round musician, which I still am very proud of because it was a great school for me to be.
Yeah.
I had a lot of tricks in my head. Basically, I had to be a composer and a songwriter, and I had to be a backing vocalist, had to be a vocal coach. So it did teach me a lot,
Yeah.
and it made me the person I am today, for sure.
Cool. And also to have that experience before you get the more filled out picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good that it happened to me when I was so young, because I think it made me who I am today as an artist, and it made me rounded towards everything that happens around you, which I think is a very good thing as an artist, that you don't get carried away by fame and by all that kind of stuff. So I
Yeah.
think very good learning curve for me.
Because when you get that attention at that young age, it might go that way as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that was a very good decision for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of your musical roots, where do you find your musical inspiration?
In a lot of places, in a lot of eclectic places, I have to say. But it's two things. I think growing up in a country as Belgium, where we have a very rich culture in electronic and dance music, I am very much influenced by dance and electronic music. I've profiled myself the last decade in this kind of music, but it's always been a love of mine, going from, like new beats to technotronic to, we always had a great electronic vibe here in Belgium. And the other thing is, my parents used to play me a lot of Motown and Stax records
Mm.
when I was growing up. It was always playing in the house. So I think vocally that is very much my informative direction. It really is something that made me want to sing and want to sound a certain type of way. So I think it's a great kind of clash, because you get the electronic, which is kind of cold, and then you have
Mhm.
the soulful vocal, which is kind of warm. So it's a beautiful kind of like mix of those two.
Yeah. And I think I read somewhere online that your song is classified as deep house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whatever, whatever, whatever tickles the pickle is good for me.
Yeah.
But I have to say, yes, it is. For me, it's very much a retro influenced record.
Yeah.
I was really listening. I wrote it with Jawad Alul, a fellow queer artist here in Belgium, and we were very much listening to a lot of early '90s, like deep diva house cuts, stuff by Martha Wash and stuff by even Cissy Peniston and Juliette Roberts, and very much music that was driven by vocals and it had a house influence. So I
Yeah.
think it's whatever exactly whatever people like to hear in a song, they can hear in the song, but it's definitely influenced by that music for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Um, and speaking of your song, what's the story behind it?
Well, musically, I already said it's driven by
Mhm.
that kind of retro feel, and lyrically, it was written with Jawad with the perspective of creating something of an anthem for yourself and also for your chosen family. And I think when
Yeah.
you come from a queer perspective, we wrote that song really wanting to have it played in gay clubs on gay prides, but also played by your aunt at the radio when she's cleaning the house,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
because that's what the song is about. It's really about celebrating who you are and who brought you there. And I think, from as a queer artist and a queer person, I of course go for chosen family and I go for a queer environment. But I think the song transcends that message. I think it can be about anyone that made you who you are in life, and that can be a lot of things. Could even be a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
the song for me.
And I think it comes through when you listen to the music as well,
Thank you.
because it's a really good, uplifting, upbeat song.
Yes, that's the
So I,
idea.
yeah, I get the good vibes from it.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
How has the response been to your song since it was released?
Oh, wonderful! I have to say, yeah, it's just nice. Like I said before, I think it's mind blowing that people all over Europe and even all over the world are listening to the song, and, like you said, understanding the good vibes of the song. And there's been people who've been, mailing me about how it personally connects with them, and I even had a couple of people who said they were helped in coming out to their parents when they listened to the song and saw the performance. So it's doing the job it's supposed to do. I think the song, which is
Yeah,
just making people feel like everything's okay and you can be yourself. I think
yeah,
it's beautiful. Honestly, it's beautiful to see those messages.
cool. It must feel great to know that you can influence someone's life in that way.
Well, it's not like I never wrote it with that perspective, but because the grandness and the beautiful environment of Eurovision creates
Hmm.
a realm where this is possible, and I find that quite magical.
Yeah. Was Because of You written with the Eurovision in mind?
Not per se, but it was always something that was in the back of my mind. Like, this could actually work for Eurovision. So it kind of like
Yeah.
wasn't written from the perspective we have to write a Eurovision song, but once it was done, it was really something that kind of became an option because we could see work in that realm. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the Eurovision fans and also the queer family
Yeah.
tends to have some of the same people involved. So
Yes.
it kind of works.
Yeah, I mean, and it is known. The same goes for me as a queer man. Like I've always loved Eurovision. You know, it's like it's
Yeah,
something that really just kind of flows very naturally. You know, it's beautiful.
absolutely.
That's great.
And speaking of the Eurovision history, do you have any favorite songs from the history?
I have a lot, but I will try to tone it down. I just released a video saying my 5 favorites, so I'll go back to that. So number 5 with me is I'm going to give you the whole number 5. Number 5 is Sama from Justina from Poland in 1995.
Hmm.
Still think is an amazing song and an amazing vocal performance. Then 4 is The Roop with Discotheque from 2021.
Yeah,
I think that's an
cool.
amazing song. I just love their performance. I was there and it was just electrifying, their performance, and I love the singer. And
Yeah.
then 3 is Eres Tu from Spain, from
Hmm.
Hades. Number 2 is, yeah, sorry, cliche, Euphoria by Loreen. It's just an undeniable classic.
Yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely.
I know it's a cliche, but you know, it's just that good.
Yeah,
And number 1 for me is Where Are You Now from Imani, UK, 1998. And that's mostly because it's a clubby track, one of the very few tracks in my perspective that really had that house influence a little bit in there, which
yeah,
is why I'm naturally driven to that song. And I love the melancholic lyrics and I love her voice. I love Imani's voice. So that's my
cool.
number 1.
Could you tell us a fun fact about yourself?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's always like, say something funny about yourself. Well, I won't say fun fact, but something I really enjoy is I love cooking, and I love with my husband. We always love inviting people at home and having dinners and making people feel good. I think I'm quite a good host, so
Yeah,
I'm a good host. It's maybe something people can know about me. You'll
yeah,
always have a drink and you'll always have food when you're at my house.
sounds like a good evening. This interview is coming to a close. So I was just wondering, would you like to give a greeting to the fans watching this interview?
For sure. Hi, I'm Gustaph, and hi to all the Eurovision fans out there in Norway. Thank you for always supporting the Eurovision and keeping a beautiful festival alive by being the biggest supporters of the festivals. It's a very magical thing, and it's something that you keep alive. So thank you for adding your own little extra magic touch to the Eurovision Song Contest.
Cool, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And thank you so much for your time
Of course. My
and
pleasure.
best of luck in Liverpool.
Thank you, and same for you guys. You will do very well with King of the Queens. That's gonna be it's already a massive hit, so you got it covered, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we will get a good result this year.
It's gonna do very well, I'm sure. It's a very good
Thank
song.
you.
Great singer.
Thanks. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye. Mwah.